I'd like to welcome you out to the Planning Commission, January 25th, 2022. I'd like to open it this evening. Roll call.
Chairman Cox.
Here.
Vice Chairman Ferris.
Here.
Commissioner Hayman.
Here.
And Commissioner Mondragon.
Here.
Four present. We have a quorum.
Commissioner Ferris, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
Absolutely. Ready to begin?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please be seated. Do I have an approval of the agenda?
So move.
Second.
Chairman Cox.
Aye.
Vice Chairman Ferris.
Aye.
Commissioner Hayman.
Aye.
Commissioner Mondragon.
Aye.
4 ayes.
Thank you. Do I have approval of the minutes of October 26, 2021?
I move. I'll
Second.
Chairman Cox.
Aye.
Vice Chairman Ferris. And then City Council has to consider it for affordable housing projects first. If that period passes, so once the 60 days passed and nobody has contacted for affordable housing, then we can list, which is what we did. So last year when we did the annual progress report, at that time you had these surplus properties listed in there. And then when I took it to council then officially surplus them. And then that started the clock once I sent the notice of availability. It started the clock for developers to notify us. And then once the 60 days had passed, then we went ahead and proceeded with the process to sell them. So we listed them on the open market. So so not part of this tonight, but when I take it to council, there may be surplus property added, but at this time there isn't.
Thank you. Commissioners, any other questions on her report? I think it was very good. Thank you. Very thorough. So I move that we approve Resolution 22-01 and present this to City Council. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Chairman Cox.
Aye.
Vice Chairman Ferris.
Aye.
Commissioner Hayman.
Aye.
Commissioner Mondragon.
Aye.
4 ayes. Motion carries.
Thank you. Do I have any commissioner items, things that you would like to bring before us?
We had previously discussed a sign ordinance, and now I understand that we do have a code enforcement officer that's back. So is that something that we will see in the future?
So on my long list of goals
Got it.
for this year is the sign ordinance. Is there anything in particular that you want to see? Because the component that I was looking to address is electronic signs. Our ordinance is really outdated, and we don't address it at all. And if we do, it's not in a favorable way. And technology has advanced a lot, so I'd like you guys to have an opportunity to look at some newer regulations. The hospital wants to put in an electronic sign. I don't think that they are, as much of a risk factor as when it was originally written. So.
Okay. I was more the temporary signs and having those abated was the issue when it came up originally.
Yeah. So as long as code enforcement is
Understood.
Yeah, if we know, then we can go out and address that. I know we were pretty on top of, for a while, any of these signs that get put on the fences around town, and we had kind of resolved that, but it's just a reoccurring problem. And that could be something that might need like community outreach, where we kind of inform the public a little differently.
Thank you.
So I would take it from the comment on looking at some of our outdated sign ordinances that maybe that should come before us and we refine that a little bit, make recommendation to the City Council.
Yeah. So I have, we'll probably talk about it a lot because there's a lot of different ways, and I have some stuff from other cities, and I have stuff from the Planning Association for some updates. And so it'll be, what you guys want to see. And we'll talk about it a lot and see how you guys want it. What is the kind of vision you guys want to see for our signs? Do you want to see electronic signs everywhere, or do you want to limit them? It will heavily depend on how you want to see it progress.
Well, and I can't speak for everybody, obviously, but, I've seen in the past some of our signage ordinances to where I've seen these electronic signs that are fairly low.
Right.
And I could mention some, but I don't think that would be wise.
Right.
But the problem I have with being too low, it is nice that maybe it's right in line of your vision as you're driving down the road, but it's also can be a distraction that far versus a deliberate look at an electronic sign. And so I'd like to see what we've got as a standard and where we might like to see it go.
Yeah.
To have the visibility, but not interfere with traffic at all.
And that would be my intention, is to see what you guys really think about some of the different ordinances that are out there and how we can implement it. Because, maybe we don't want to see an electronic sign all the way down China Lake Boulevard, so it will depend. And then maybe there's additional setbacks that need to be, required for that. So we'll look at a lot of different standards and kind of really talk about how you guys want to see that.
Okay. Any other questions or thoughts? Okay, so I've asked Heather to talk to us a little bit in the staff items about the new requirements on our trash and biological, the things that have come down from the state.
Yeah, so mandatory organics is coming. Now, you'll see this in more detail from Megan at the next city council meeting, but I know in the past we've had some discussions about businesses. And so I just kind of want to go over that again. Businesses that meet a threshold have been required to comply with organics since 2016. So this isn't necessarily new for them. And I know when we're thinking of these trash containers and, these areas for the trash enclosures, the organics bin is usually like what we have at our houses. It's a cart. We're not talking about an extra dumpster. I will say that the engineering design standards are in progress right now through Public Works, and when they were doing the trash enclosures this year, I did ask that they go ahead and make the standard to accommodate organics for, fast food. Now, not everybody, I'm assuming, is going to need, organics. I would guess, I'm not completely proficient in it, but I would assume that, your small business on Balsam Street that doesn't serve food probably doesn't need an organics. I don't know. And I'm assuming there's waivers for them to qualify not to. But for fast food in particular and for restaurants, they've been required to do this for some time. And, in the past, we've had to kind of think about parking. Should they need to expand, at some of the locations that are in existence, if they need to enlarge their trash enclosure, we may have to limit a parking space, and we have done that to accommodate a larger trash enclosure. That doesn't so much apply for organics, but definitely for recycling when you started to see them bring in two, dumpsters for recycling and trash. But organics is just a cart, so it shouldn't impact, as far as space and as far as our site plans, it shouldn't impact them very much. Now, for residential, yes, mandatory organics will be a thing. You will all eventually have an organics cart at your homes. And I would love for you to participate in city council and find out all of the details on that.
Okay. Yeah, I would be interested in how the restaurants are actually handling it, especially fast food.
You know what?
At this moment, the reason why I ask is imagine going to McDonald's and your kid doesn't eat everything, you throw it in the trash.
So,
Are they requiring them to go through the trash and pick out the organic?
yes. So I was just at a franchise chain out of town, and they have their trash or their refuse set up with 3 different compartments, and it's very clearly labeled with both pictures and words of what goes in the 3 different compartments. And then that way patrons will go up and clear their tray as they do. And I did, being that I know about this, I did look in and see, and it didn't seem like anybody had an issue with this. And this is a fast food. I mean, so it's all across California. I think that they're gonna, but your franchisees, we're gonna have, and that's your fast food mostly, I would assume that they're gonna have their own kind of container methods that they're gonna be using in California, so it shouldn't be extraordinary. But yeah, I did look, because I was excited to see it, honestly.
Okay. Any other items maybe from the commission? If not, staff, any other items you'd like to talk to us about?
So Dutch Brothers should be getting their final this week. Arby's is just under building final review. They've passed engineering and planning, so they're moving along.
Well, good. All right then, we will close our meeting today at 6:28.
Solomon still did it.